Welcome back. As part of efforts to deepen financial inclusion in Nigeria and as well unlock diaspora investment, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has launched the Non-Resident Bank Verification Number System, NRBVN, which allows Nigerians abroad to obtain a BVN without physical presence in the country. The groundbreaking initiative unveiled in Abuja Tuesday is expected to actualize the CBN's $1 billion monthly diaspora remittance target and potentially channel $12 billion annually through formal channels. Speaking at the event attended by banking CEOs and key stakeholders, the CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso described the NRBVN as a milestone in Nigeria's financial inclusion journey, designed to bridge the gap between Nigeria and its global citizens. To discuss this subject with me, I'm now being joined by Michael Ogwu, a finance editor with Pinnacle Daily. You're welcome, Michael.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
How far is this supposed to go in impacting on Nigeria's financial sector?
It would impact on the Nigerian financial sector in several folds. First of all, it has implications for the anti-money laundering drive of Nigeria. As you will recall, we're making efforts to get out of the grey list, of the international money laundering grey list. Because most of the international transactions, especially ones that see funds coming into Nigeria, are not things that you can track, appropriately to the last mile. Because most of those funds are coming in from sources that you are not able to completely identify. And so this will provide clarity. It will remove all the difficulties that have been there because we have a very sizable Nigerian population outside this country. We are talking anywhere between 17 and 20 million. And this data has been there for nearly a decade. So if you capture the recent rate of Japa syndrome, you may be probably looking at 22 to 25 million people. And the bulk of this number left this country before the BVN exercise, the national BVN exercise that was done, was carried out. So they had no opportunity to use the account. What happened is after the cutoff date, they were unable to use this account for financial services. So if they have to do anything back home, or even if they have to access their own money that they send back home, it had to be through a third party. And we all know the stories of third party transactions in Nigeria. So on that part, it has limited repatriation of funds, which is something that we seriously are looking for in this part of the world, especially from our own diaspora, as we have seen India and China do with its own population. So, but more importantly, to address questions of money laundering, which is critical for this country.
Now, from your perspective, how significant is the NRBVN rollout in the context of Nigeria's broader financial inclusion agenda?
It is critical, 20 million is no mean feat. If we need to juxtapose that by even our own census numbers here in Nigeria, a place like the FCT has only a population of around 5 to 6 million. So you are talking about 4 FCT populations are able to access the account on account of not having BVN. That's one aspect. The other aspect we have to look at it is the benefit it even gives us as a country, because what BVN does essentially is for the financial sector, for agencies like the Financial Intelligence Unit, for agencies like the Central Bank of Nigeria, what it does is the BVN helps them to have a global view of every individual in this country. So with your BVN, they can see all the banks that you are exposed to, they can see your financial transactions, and they can even do a proper credit risk assessment of your person. And if we have this critical number who keeps sending money into this country but has to go into third party and the rest, it means the linkages that we require between the Nigerian diaspora, which is a critical mass, and the connections that we need back home in terms of financial leakages and all will be missing. And so back home, even our banks will not be able to evaluate these persons appropriately because their accounts are dormant, they are unable to use them. And you cannot even sell financial services. Remember that part of the strategies that this country has been looking at in terms of the overall benefit to this country is how to access cheap international funds. If you look at what China, or rather India, is doing, it is now selling diaspora bonds to its people outside the shores of this country. and it is selling it at a subsidiary below what you will get a Eurobond, for instance. Sometimes even as competitive with the rate you will get from multilateral loan. Because there is a patriotic part, of your diasporas when they buy those bonds. They buy it not just because they are looking for avenues to save money, but they also buy it because they understand that the money will go back into nation building. So you meet that aspect for them. You also get access to cheap funds that you use to fix the infrastructures that are critical to drive some of the developments that you're looking at doing. So it's a win-win for everybody that after several years of paying lip service, we are now able to activate this critical soft infrastructure that will enable us to move forward.
Now, the CBN is aiming for $1 billion in monthly remittances. How realistic is that target based on current trends and infrastructure?
It's big, but it also tells you, they may be looking at data that are not readily accessible to us, but we need to also understand that the Nigerian diaspora is not just about the kind of stories that we hear. Take America, for instance. We have come to know that Nigeria accounts for some of the most educated professionals in the United States, for instance, whether you are talking about medical doctors or physicists or all kinds of people. I mean, in the Wall Street, we have critical Nigerians. Nigerians are known or renowned for taking up very senior roles around the Wall Street. At the end of the day, you are looking at what is possible between these Nigerians that have stepped out of your shores and are doing great. In the long run, you are looking at these people coming back to replicate some of the successes that they have done. And if we have that critical mass, I don't think it's completely out of place. 1 billion may look very ambitious. That's about 1.5 trillion naira or 1.7 trillion naira, depending on what you use as the exchange rate.
Now, do you believe this initiative is enough to restore confidence among Nigerians abroad who've grown skeptical of the country's financial system?
What I can tell you is that it is going to take just more than this to build confidence. But I think the financial sector, for people who have been keen watchers of what has happened in that sector, is one area that has continued to post consistency in terms of performance. But it's not just about that. The basket is actually bigger outside. We are talking about fund managers around the world that used to be in this country that left. That if we continue to carry out these reforms, if we take care of issues around anti-money laundering, which is an impediment, because some of those financial managers, the more your country is ranked badly in some of these indices, the less they will do business with you. Now that we are taking care of those gray areas and removing ourselves in them, it means those big fund managers that have all of these concerns will now have the concerns removed, the barriers completely removed, and we can begin to see them bring, even if it is just 2% of their global funds that they bring back into this country, is big. Remember, people, some of these fund managers used to have anywhere around $60 to $80 billion in various investments in different portfolios in Nigeria that they have completely removed. Imagine that kind of money coming back into this country. We will see the benefits permeate several sectors, including the difficulty we are having with our exchange rate stability as it is right now. So you would see also that at the launch, somebody like the Director General of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission was also excited because this is a whole new vista for them in everything that they are trying to do.
Well, this has been a great conversation indeed, and it's a very positive one for Nigerians in diaspora. We look forward to having you back sometime soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The gratitude is always mine. Do have a great day.
And away from markets and finance to travel and tourism, in a major push to reform aviation financing and investment in Nigeria, the League of Airports and Aviation Correspondents, LAC, is set to host its 29th annual conference this August in Lagos. The LAC conference, now in its 29th year, will bring together key players from across Nigeria's aviation industry. Thursday, August 7th, at the Providence Hotel in Ikeja, Lagos. Themed aviation financing in Nigeria, the risks, opportunities, and prospects. The conference is designed as a high-level policy and investment forum aimed at finding sustainable funding solutions for Nigeria's growing aviation needs. Chairman of the conference committee, Wole Shagare, says the event will provide a vital platform to address pressing issues such as infrastructure funding, aircraft leasing, regulatory reforms, and the rising cost of aviation fuel. A major highlight will be the launch of a special publication titled Celebrating Champions of Aviation Development, spotlighting individuals and institutions that have shaped the industry since 1999. The event is expected to draw top executives from airlines, banks, regulatory agencies, airport operators, and state governments as discussions focus on unlocking investment, building a resilient aviation future. Meanwhile, a high-level delegation from the National Association of Nigeria Travel Agencies, NANTA, is in Istanbul, Turkey, exploring new frontiers in travel trade collaboration with Turkish Airlines. The goal: to unlock mutual benefits for both parties and enhance travel experiences for Nigerian passengers. Key highlights of the conversations include streamlining visa processes for Nigerian travelers to Turkey and a push for increased flight frequencies, particularly targeting Nigeria's southeast and south-south regions through the Port Harcourt International Airport. Also on the table, a call for enhanced passenger incentives for Nigerians flying through Turkey, positioning the airline as a preferred carrier in the region. The discussions, which received positive attention from Turkish Airlines management, mark a significant step in repositioning Nigeria as a major travel hub in West Africa, while also strengthening bilateral tourism and trade ties. And that's how far we go today. To read more of our stories, visit www.av1tv.com or our business news platform at www.business360news.com. You can also follow us on YouTube and Facebook for the latest updates. I'm Vivian Akinyosule.